Yeah, good relationships with colleagues is always good
It's always good.
But
yes.
not too much. I learned from that.
Oh,
About me and you, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world.
So, welcome to the podcast When We Were Younger. My name is Isis and next to me is Luke.
Good afternoon, everybody. Glad you guys tuned into the podcast, where we students will talk to adults about how things used to be. Every week we talk about different subjects and look at the difference between the past and the present.
So today we're going to talk to our guest about internships, but maybe, Luke, you have any experience with internships?
Yeah, I had a couple of internships. Not all of them were good experiences.
Oh,
but
no?
No, the most of them weren't that good, but I had one that was very good and I enjoyed that really much.
You learned a lot?
I learned a lot.
Oh, that's nice. I did 2 internships and one I loved, but maybe a little bit too much. It was a lot of partying and fun and not a lot of working. And the other one was so strict and doing a lot of work. So I didn't really like that one, but I was also a little bit younger. So.
What kind of internship was the party one?
It was at Baller, 1/2 and 433. It was like one company and with the old soccer players and stuff. So we just played ping pong all day and foosball. But then my boss got angry that I didn't do anything, but he didn't have any work for me. So it was kind of strange, but I made a lot of good friends there. So that was
That's
nice.
very nice.
Yeah. Today, as a guest, we have invited Liesbeth de Boer. Would you like to introduce yourself? Welcome.
thank you. I'm Liesbeth de Boer. My age is 56. I am from Veenwouden. And I'm a lecturer here at NHL Stenden.
Okay, so our listeners would like to get to know you a little bit better. So I have prepared a few superficial dilemmas. I would say just answer them. Do you prefer a funny or romantic partner?
A funny partner.
For me as well.
Yeah?
I think fun is the most important.
Yeah, I think so too. You know, you have to spend the rest of your life with someone, so it better be like a best friend, right?
Yeah.
And are you more a spending or saving?
Spending.
Yeah.
At this moment, more spending, yeah.
But you just moved out. You should be careful with your money.
Yeah, I'm careful, but everything I got, I have to spend.
Yeah, that's true. I think I think spending, but I also saving. I don't know.
I like to live, so I like to spend my money to live.
Yeah, exactly. But every month I put a little bit aside, so it's kind of both, I think. But
It's very good.
yeah, Airbnb or hotel?
Hotel. I'm a spender.
Oh yeah, that's true. Luke?
Yeah, I guess a hotel.
Yeah,
For holidays, a hotel.
it's better.
Yeah.
And swimming or sunbathing?
Ooh, that's a difficult one because I like sunbaking, but I can't lay down all the time. So swimming is also very nice. But I have to choose one.
Yes.
Swimming.
I think, yeah, they're kind of similar because you do both together. But I think...
You can also go to a swimming pool. You don't have to
Yeah.
swim in the ocean.
But swimming, you can do it in the ocean and in the swimming pool, and sunbathing you can at the same places as long as the sun is there.
You can also go to a tanning salon.
Yeah, but that isn't the same. That isn't the same, right?
Okay.
I think I'm more of the sunbathing type.
Sunbathing. I'm more of a swimmer. I love being in the water, playing mermaids and stuff.
And you can lay down in the weather and sunbake.
And then you get tan very fast because of the reflection and of the sun and the water. Yeah. That were the dilemmas. Can you tell us a little bit more of what you studied and where?
My first study was for a speech pathologist, and that was in Groningen. And that was about 1986 when I went to Groningen as a young girl from the country to the big city. And I have lived in Groningen, and I loved the student life in Groningen.
What are you doing now? Because then did your study connect with what you're doing now?
Yes, it is, because first I have worked as a speech pathologist, and after that I I think 10 years later, I worked as a speech pathologist at the primary schools. And I wanted to also become a teacher of a primary school. So I went to NHL Stenden, and it was CHN then. And
Back in the days.
That were the days. And I said, I want to be a teacher, and then you could follow a program for 2 years. But when I followed the program here for a primary teacher, they needed a speech pathologist. So they said, can you come and work here? I said, of course, I will. And first I have worked here for 1 day as a speech pathologist. After that, I came to work here for 3 days, and I have done some studies to become a Dutch language teacher.
Oh, okay.
Yes, I've studied a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also then a lot of here and in between these walls, right?
Yes, here, but also in Groningen.
So then, because I think with a study, internship pairs with that, right? So did you then also do a lot of internships, and what were your experiences?
Yes, I started, when I did the study speech pathologist, I started with the nursery in Twijzelerheide. So it was a very small nursery, and I had to observe children, and I had to talk with the children. And after that, I went to a primary school as a speech pathologist, and after that, I went to a school for special needs.
Oh, wow.
And that was what I really liked. I liked the children who are a little bit strange, or just not the way every people
Not the way
used to be.
society says you need to be.
Yes.
Yeah.
I liked it.
And there was an internship there as well.
Yes.
Oh wow.
Yes.
And for how long were you there?
I have that was in my 3rd year, and I've been there 1 year, and in my 4th year I had an internship here in Leeuwarden, a practice for a speech pathologist. And after when I ended up my study, I came to work at the school for special needs, and I really liked it. And I have I've worked there a lot, and I missed it to be a teacher, because I think in my blood is a teacher. So that's why I wanted to study for a primary school teacher.
Oh wow.
How old were you when you started at the special needs school?
I think I was 22.
22.
Yes.
And it was after you finished your first...
My first study, yes. Yeah.
And how old were you when you got your first internship?
19.
Was it a big difference to start an internship? Most of the colleagues are a little bit older, I can imagine.
Yeah.
Is it a big step?
Yes. It wasn't for me a big step because it was in my village, so that was very safe for me.
Everybody knew each other.
Yes, and also the school for special needs. I didn't. No, it was no problem. It was a good environment. They welcomed me, and that was good. But here in Leeuwarden, I think it was a little bit difficult, because I had one colleague, and she also was my internship supervisor, and I wasn't allowed to make mistakes.
Oh,
yes, and that doesn't feel good,
because you're there to learn stuff,
yes,
right?
Yes, when you have an internship, you have to. You have to experience, and you're allowed to make failures. But that wasn't, because it was a practice, so they had to earn money.
Oh, so their stakes were also higher, so the things you had to do had to be perfect.
Yes.
But that's really strange, because you would say that if that happens, that's all right, but then someone just has to check your work. It's just, how it is, right?
Yes.
And then when you make a mistake, that's no problem, but you can learn from it.
Yeah, that's my opinion also.
So it was not a very good experience.
So I like to go back to work at schools. And for me, a school is a very nice environment, because it's an environment where you can learn, where you can be curious, where you can explore. And as a teacher, I can guide the young people to become an adult who has good skills.
Also, maybe the best versions of themselves, maybe.
That is the most beautiful thing, if you can reach it as a lecturer, that your students are going to be the best person they can be with good skills for that profession.
Oh, wow. Yeah. So with the bad experience you had in Leeuwarden, what was the thing you learned from that?
That's a very good question. I learned from that at the time I get my students, who I have to coach, that they were allowed to make failures. And I learned that a safe environment is very important to learn. And I think that's the most important thing I learned. It was also good to have that experience, because it made that I got high ambitions. And that can also be very good.
Yeah. Yeah, I can imagine that. Also creating the safe space, I think it's really important, because I hear so many horror stories from people that go on internships that it's just not a really good fit. And I don't know, maybe what would you do about that?
I think that's the most important thing what you mentioned. You have to fit at the place where you are having your internship.
Yeah.
And maybe that won't be right away, but you have to grow in it, and the internship place has to give you the space to feel at home.
Yeah.
Do you tell your students sometimes the story?
Story of my life?
Yeah.
Yes, yeah. I always say, I try them to say, don't give up, because sometimes the way you get there where you want to be isn't the way that you first thought.
No.
But be always aware that you have to use your talents. That's very important. And when you go to a place or an internship, use your talents and be curious and do the things you want to do. And when you do the things you want to do, you can get there where you want it to be.
I think also then don't be afraid to make the mistakes and to try new things. That's the only way you will learn and to become the best version of yourself.
And have the guts to change.
Yeah.
And don't stay at a place where you think from, I don't know if I like it here. Have the guts to go somewhere else.
Yeah.
When students are not in the place they think they fit in, then I imagine you have a conversation with them about their internships. What do you tell them most of the times?
Most of the time, I say, do you feel at home here, and do you have the idea that you can develop your qualities here? And when they don't have the idea then I say, don't stay here too long. Then I go have a conversation with them, and then we look for a solution. Because I think when you're young people, it's very important to be motivated and to enjoy the place where you are. It's just such a pity when you aren't at a place where you feel at home.
Yeah.
And most of the time, it's important to have a good relationship with your
counselor on the internship. Yeah.
Yes, that's very important. When that relationship isn't good, then you can't develop you to be the best person you can be.
And what happens? So you look for a solution. So if someone really wants to get out of their internship, what happens then? Can you just quit, or do you first have to find a new job or internship, and does the school get that, or do you have to do that? What's the process?
The first thing we do is to have a conversation with each other. So with the student, with the teacher, and I, and then we talk about the feelings they have. And most of the time, the teacher says, "Yes, I'm feeling the same way. I don't think this person is here at the right place."
Oh, wow.
That's most of the time. Sometimes it isn't. So you say to the students, "Shall try it again," and you make appointments, how they have to behave and have to go to get a good relationship. But then we make an appointment, and after several weeks we look, and how is it going now? And isn't it going well? We are looking for a new place. Sometimes you see that students are afraid to say it's not the right place here, and they go on and on and on, and after a while you say, yeah, we have to quit. We had to quit in November, and they quit in March.
I think it's kind of scary. It's because you work in a company with people that are older than you are. You probably look up to them. They have so much more experience, and I think it's hard to say, okay, I'm afraid to say that I don't want to be here anymore, because it also can be a personal attack to someone, to your colleagues, actually. Like, I don't want to be here because you don't make me feel good. Yeah,
I remember from my first internship, I was like 16 years old when I started, and my counselor, the woman who coached me there, was twice as old as me. So then it's kind of scared to say I don't want to do this, or I'm not enjoying it here. It's a big step too, because you just came from high school and immediately you're going into an internship. And that is a big step to do immediately after the summer, and you've never done it before.
Also the hours, like I remember I had to work from 9 to 5 for 10 months because I had to do 2 internships, 5 months each. So from 9 to 5 for 10 months long, which I had never done, and I didn't have vacation. I had vacation days that I could request, So it was not that, everybody's going on a winter holiday, so I'm also 2 weeks off. No, I had to go to the office. And that was really weird at the age of 18, when you just got off school, and you're like, I don't know what I'm doing here. And what would you say, do you have because the most scariest thing is also the first day. You don't know what's coming. You don't know what to do. Do you have tips to prepare?
I always say to my students, look at the website. What's the kind of school you are going to? And then I say, think about the clothes you wear when you go to school, especially with children, because they always look at the young teachers for, oh, wow, he's wearing very nice. So think about it. And sometimes I say, you can make a call with your internship supervisor. So then you can call how at what time do you expect me, and are there things I need to know? So be prepared. And I think that's very important. And first you come and you observe. I think that's very important. And yes, and be curious. Just ask questions.
I also, when you go to the internship, you have, of course, a job interview to see if you're fit. And then you can also look around in a room how everybody's dressed. Because I also think one of the worst things, maybe it's bigger in my head, is to be underdressed when you go to an internship.
Yes.
Like when you're just in your sweatpants or something and they're all in suits, it's not good.
No.
It's really first impressions are important.
Look at the website, because there are sometimes pictures, so you can imagine what kind of company you are going to. And when you're going at school, most of the time you know what clothes you
Informal,
wear.
but long skirts, nothing too short and stuff.
Yeah.
Do you have any tips for our listeners? Some golden tips so that they can take to their internships or maybe into their lives?
Yes, I always say to my students, there are 3 good habits for an intern. You have to be initiative, you have to be curious, and you have to be a good listener. So that are the 3 things that are very important. And observe and try to get a good relationship with the colleagues. That's very important.
I think that sounds really good.
Yeah, good relationships with colleagues is always good. Because
it's always good.
But not too much. I learned from that.
oh, yes.
Yeah, I was a little bit too gezellig. And you also brought a song for us, right? That reminds you of your days back in the days, your time.
Yes.
At Groningen.
In Groningen.
From Groningen, yeah.
The big city.
What's the song?
My song is I Will Survive from Gloria Gaynor. And that was really a big hit when I was a student. So when we went to a discotheque, when they turned on that music, every girl goes to the dance floor and we danced. And I think that's also very important when you are a student. You have to study, but you also have to live and to dance and do the nice things in life.
Oh, wow, I think that's a beautiful closure from our episode of today. Thank you so much for your time and
thank you very much.
Thank you for the invitation.
okay, perfect.